I managed to do that. So Daria, stage is yours. And then we will have Andres, so our speaker from that.
Said that you forgot, or I still use keyboard?
It's not working. So.
Oh, okay. Good to know, good start.
I tried, but it's not working.
Okay, guys, it's lightning talk. I was told that it was 6 minutes. So my name is Daria Dodowska. I'm an agile coach. I'm an agile transformation leader. I am mentor at Riga Tech Girls, and I'm founder of the OVA Agile Consultancy Company. I've been presenting for some time already, but I have to say, for 6 minutes, it's still a challenge for me. So, well, good luck for me, okay? So today, what I will be talking about, maybe a little uncomfortable topics, maybe some more interesting or not. But one of them of my series of Agile Talks is about the science behind of why we stand up during a daily stand-ups in Agile. So, majority of you most probably know what is that, if not all of you. So I just quickly wanted to remind to myself maybe as well, what it is not. So what daily stand-up is not, and this is not a report to your manager meeting, because in a classic Agile team, there is kind of no direct manager towards you, because what does it mean? That everyone is managing whatever is necessary for product delivery from their field of expertise, right? And everyone is interconnected. Instead, therefore, that is a meeting where we check how are we connected today or for the period until the next checkup. What it is not, it's definitely not let's talk long and deep about our childhood or whatever past experiences. Because you see, one of the things that I've learned also in my experience, but statistics say that poor workplace communication, including these kind of heads-up meeting, let's say, can lead up to 40% of failure in a project. So instead, this is a heads up of how are we connected and what is important for each of the team members. And on the contrary, I have to give contrary statistics as well, right? So plus and the minus, that well-connected teams who are pursuing a good communication habits, one of them might be the daily stand-up, if conducted correctly, might result in a more than 20% of a successful project rate increase. So what is it then? So we just discussed what it's not. So what is it then? It's a huddle. And by the way, daily stand-up, it's not anymore just called like that. It could be different names, but one of them is called a daily huddle. And what is it really? What you see on the picture. It was invented in 1890s by the football teams in America. So what they do is quick, short, very energetic, recurring meeting that whole team who will be working on the product, game, result, are meeting to do what? Boost their energy, the engagement to the team, go through the strategy, of course, in very short, right? And it's a few minutes before the actual game. And go into the crowd mode to feel united, to do something together, because this is their dependency on each other. By the way, it's still used in American football, and it's copied to some other sports like, what is it? Like basketball, soccer. I haven't seen it with soccer on the field. But let's say, most probably, it happens somewhere in the dressers. But my question is, like, why do we often stand up while some nervous situations are happening? Like, for example, we are stressed and it requires a quick response, like right now. You can imagine any situation you want. Or we're being nervous before any peak performance. Like I have a peak performance right now of this night, right? Performing before you guys. You can name any examples you want, but one of them also performing daily stand-up. And I said science in the beginning, right? So I have to add a little science, and it will happen now. Well, according to Oxford University, not only them, but I will refer to them tonight, since I still have less than 6 minutes. So study about the brain and effects of standing up while doing something shows that in this way, we actually physically, neurologically boost our brain performance. And one comment, I'm not a neuroscientist and I'm not a doctor. This is one of the theories that I personally like. So don't refer to me as a doctor afterwards. I don't want to have some problems, you know. So how do we do that actually? And one of them, it will be very quick. So one of them is standing up improves your circulation of the visual association cortex. What it means, brain part here, we are boosted by the oxygen and the blood circulation, which means that we are starting to receive and segment all the visual and audio information. Like as we speak right now, in order for you to focus on me and whoever is trying to focus even harder, this brain part that we all have is working in a more successful way. So in long story short, it's a blood flow that brain is delivered to the brain. So it's being pumped even more and faster in order for us to receive this information. What else? It is increased productivity of the midbrain. This is the part of the brain that I can't show you. It's somewhere very deep inside, but trust me, it's there. So what is responsible for like your audio and visual processing, eye movement, and our pupils, motoric control, like standing, sitting, and all of the rest, and regulating even pain, mood, breathing, and etc. So whenever we see that we are lacking some sort of focus, we can help each other like in a second. Just stand up and sit down. It's fine. It might look weird, yes, but still you can help yourself. And one of the last but not least for sure is a better neurogenesis. And those are those highways for our brain that are being created in every second, and especially with every new experience that we're getting, which are actually responsible for the increased information intake. And therefore, whenever we feel like we're stagnating, we are feeling dizzy, we're not hearing a person speaking, or we're not being engaged, again, stand up, sit down, or you can keep standing up. So I might say I have a minute or something, that's why that's the last slide. I really don't want to bother you with a long information or something, that's why long story short. Do or don't your daily stand-ups in the teams, because actually no one have ever said that you must. But if you do and conduct it correctly and efficiently, it might increase to up to 25% success rate in your teams. And I'm not speaking about just the daily stand-up, but the overall successful communication within the team. Therefore, if you do it, help yourself to do it in a short and effective way, because trust me, whenever your scrum master, let's say, or agile coach comes in the team and says, guys, let's start doing daily stand-ups, and then all the team like, oh, we hate it. Trust me, your scrum master or agile coach hates those meetings being long, everyone's standing unengaged as well. So let's help each other and help yourself first and foremost. So I'm talking about standing up and how this might actually help us, but I am one of those people who thinks that if you do that, do it in a way that actually works for you. And if it means laying down, I mean, seriously, who am I or somebody to tell that, no, you can't do it? If you generate the results out of that and you got everything that you need, well, do it laying down, like whatever it is. So whenever in doubt, should you do it or should you not? How should you do it? I mean, there's so many information, and I personally, whenever I'm in doubt and I need to, talk to the teams and find a way how to convince somebody or even not convince myself, I usually turn to science and see what kind of researches there are in the market. And nowadays we're very lucky because majority of them are in the internet. But also that here's me, who actually hopefully going forward will be sharing these kind of tips and tricks with you. But also these kind of communities that guys have organized, that where we meet and we actually can talk about these things, even small ones. We don't have to solve necessarily huge strategic things. These small things have a big impact. If you don't do that, well, it's up on you. No one said that you will be a failure in the team, that your project will fail. But again, consult with statistics, consult with science, with people who maybe have the same experiences, and good luck with whatever decision you have. 6 minutes? Good? Perfect. This is something you... Thank you very much.
There's one question for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so
good.
nervous.
But that's only a question, so the first one and the last one.
Okay. No pressure.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there a reason to do stand-ups for a team of two?
Well, actually, as I personally asked this question numerous times, it's a very good question. What I'm saying, that's my personal opinion from my personal experience. What I'd say is that as soon as somebody more than one person is working on something collaboratively, I would say that any sort of very quick catch up gives a benefit. I have seen it. To be honest, I'm that type of cycle. Whenever I'm working on my project, I have my daily stand-up on my checklist on the paper. But I mean, as soon as someone are collaborating with you, and therefore you are working isolated to even small amount of time, I think it's beneficial in order for you to meet up and see where you are and if you are still pursuing the same goal. Did I answer your question? Thank you.
Okay, great. Then please stand up those who are doing daily stand-ups. No one's doing it. Oh, wow. I was really... I was too, like, no one? Okay. Stand. Yeah, boost your brain activity. Keep standing. Okay, don't stand. Okay, stand up those who will stand from tomorrow during your daily stand-ups. Who will stand up, not sit and do this daily stand-up. Who at least... Oh! That's good. So the talk was good. So at least like 2 at the start, then from tomorrow. And now we can welcome with a warm applauses Andris, our last speaker today.
Yes, so you might refer to the previous presentation. Do you want to hear a joke about the standing up and stand-ups?
Yeah.
It's a really short one. So two agile coaches met, and one is asking another, "Hey, how are you doing?" He says, "I'm fine. What about you?" "I'm not so fine. What happened?" "Oh, one of my team members is in hospital right now." "What happened?" He was driving to work and it was daily stand-up time, so he tried to stand up in the car and black humor. And yeah, thanks, Martas, for your presentation. Really insightful for me, and I will have some questions to ask to my guys at that. And if you were trying to shift left, I will try even more left as far as possible in mind. So. And we will discuss what it really takes to improve the development process, or why the French waiters are the best sellers out there from my point of view. So I will have a small story there. Yeah, I'm working in TED for 7 years. I started as a project manager. Then after a few years, I became a Scrum Master. I had first 3 Scrum, first of all, one team. Then after like 2 sprints, the CEO of the company we were working with and introduced the Scrum as our suppliers came to me and said, we didn't want it, but now I can see that we are doing like 2 times more stuff compared to previously. Then I had 3 teams of Scrum, then plus 2 teams in Kanban. Then like we had around 16 teams in TED, but now I will try to not use the word agile anymore in this presentation. And I would like to think today I'm not here from the agile camp or DevOps camp. I am just a honest guy who will try to share his experience and his maybe knowledge and some point of views on how to change things in your company, your team, maybe somewhere else. And yeah, right now my passion is professional coaching. I'm shifting there and working more with people. So the first question to you guys, this picture was in my first slide, and it was I was actually trying to use our AI tools to get a picture which will like map together and tie together the French waiters and DevOps. How much of DevOps do you see here? And you can recognize I'm not a DevOps guy, definitely, and I think there is no DevOps in this picture. What do you think? The models? We can live with that. Cool.
There is a person with 7 fingers DevOps.
Okay. So this was generated by Dolly from the OpenAI, and I tried like 20 different prompts for this. And when I was full of trying, I just asked about what is DevOps, and I didn't see DevOps in those versions as well. So prompt for this one was an oil painting where a French waiters is offering a big plate with Jenkins, Docker, and small Kubernetes logos to people sitting around the table in a restaurant. Close enough. Okay. So why I'm showing this, that after playing like 25 times with different prompts, I left with the thoughts that this thing doesn't know what DevOps is at all. What is all about? How does it look like? What beast is it? And so on and so on. Right now, so question to you: what would you like to introduce possibly in your workplace you are currently in? So just a brainstorm. What would you like to introduce to your colleagues, to your management, to, I don't know, to yourself, to Scrum Master, to whatever? What are those things? Yeah, just
Managing daily stand-up.
managing daily stand-up. Okay, what else?
Postmortems.
Postmortem. Okay, from Manta's presentation, maybe. Would you like to introduce something in your workplace, your organization?
The security.
Security. So yeah, we might introduce some different tools, different frameworks, different guidelines we would like to be followed, approaches, methodologies, methods, processes, ways of working or ways of thinking. And there is a tiny challenge in the whole this thing. This most probably will impact someone else, not just you, right? So it's not about you. If you want to introduce a tool, a framework, it means that it will introduce, even if you want to work with this tool, your security guys, your boss, maybe your colleague somehow, because you will use a different tool they are not using, right? And we're talking about that. So, and if this will impact someone else, then, for example, agile implementation. From my experience, after trying to implement the mindset, after like saying word agile like 50 times per week, it becomes a swear word. Agile starts to mean something not so good, not so cool, and something better to avoid than actually do, right? And why so? Basically, if it impacts someone else, it means we are willing to introduce a change. Something different than it is right now. And you know how it goes with announcement of changes, right? So right now, if I would say, please raise a hand who loves these meetups? Who loves these meetups? Okay. To get a better coverage and make it more popular, should we have in a different region each our next meetup? So one is in Daugavpils, so one is in Liepāja, one is in Alūksne, one is Zilupe. Yeah, Kolka, and so on and so on. So approve? Just one here. Why? It's the humble goal, right? Have a better coverage, make it more popular, more people, more thoughts, and so on. Why it is so? Why we have this meme? Because it's a fear of unknown. We don't know what will follow. We don't know will we be still in control? How it will impact us, our workload, our knowledge. Maybe we will need to learn something new, and it's not cool for everyone these days, you know, because maybe learning something new means doing it after my work, stealing time from my family, right? And some guy somewhere introduced a change, and someone else said, "Yeah, that's a cool thing to do." We don't even know why we are doing this, but we need to do it. And that's why we are not so cool with the changes in our life. And I will not deep dive in psychology, but it's just our natural behavior to resist the change. And even if we have the best tool, as from Google, right? Months. it still means we will need to deal with all of that in our workplace. And not just from management, also from our colleagues, from our friends, and so on and so on. So what does it mean that we need to introduce a change? And it means we need to pitch this change. We need to sell this idea to our leadership, to our colleagues, to our friends, to our bosses, to, I don't know, the person who is holding the budget. And still, yeah, and that's a lot of effort, and it means that we need to find a sponsor, maybe somewhere in the higher management who will support us. Because if the person with the wallet or person who is making decisions are not supporting us, there will be no change, right? But let's say that's a constraint we need to understand the phase, that if we don't have a support up there, or that there will be no change, or it will be like a legal change for a short period of time. You need to gain followers. You need to gain support, because again, one man in the field is not a warrior. But if we are like all the DevOps and all the Scrum Masters and all the the team members of the teams, and instead of like one signature or one thought and idea, we have the same idea shared by hundreds of people. That's a bit different impact. We need some kind of success story. We need to show that there is a case study which proves that it's a good thing to try, and there are some results that are showing that we are going to succeed most probably, and we just need to try it out in a bigger group. We need to understand that this whole process needs to be facilitated, managed by someone, which means again time, energy, motivation, willingness to like organize meetings, prepare slides, present the slides, answer all the questions, convince like 10 or 20 different people in the room that hey, we need to do it, and it takes time, energy, and motivation. And again, the guy who is willing to introduce the tool might not be ready to do all of this. But to get that tool in his workplace and make this workplace better for him or his department, it is the must. So here we are coming to an interesting part, and I would like to tell you a story about the French waiter and why they are the best sellers from my point of view. So imagine you are standing in France, in the Paris Saint-Germain, the Press Boulevard, in this Brasserie Libre restaurant. You are a host. You have invited a few of your friends just to make their evening great, and you are standing there for next Maître du hotel, and Maître du hotel is the guy who is actually sitting, choosing the table for you, and then going to tell you where you will be seated and like supports you on this day, on this journey. So you are standing near the entrance with all your guests, and he says, "Monsieur, please allow a few minutes for us to prepare your table." After 10 minutes, when you can see that there are a lot of free tables, the restaurant is not crowded, but it's getting crowded. The best places have been taken already. You are still staying with your guests. You are getting anxious. You are getting stressed. You are trying to explain to your guests why you have chosen this restaurant. You're saying, "Hey guys, the food is great here," right? And you are looking at Maître du hotel, and he shows like 1 minute more, 2 minutes more. After 5 minutes, you are. He says your table is ready, and please follow me. And he help you get seated. Appears trainee who brings you some bread, some water, and wine list and menu. And he just disappears. After 15 another minutes, it's more like half an hour already, and you didn't even order yet, appears the waiter. And in the story, this is the waiter, this is the Benoit, this is the exact guy, and this is the real story I'm telling you right now. He's the head waiter. He started as a dishwasher and sitter, and now he is the head waiter. He knows everything about the food, he knows everything about the wines, he knows everything about the ingredients, about the technology, how the food is prepared. But if you will ask him all these questions, he will hear it as a mild insult. He would like for you to ask what he would recommend to you this evening from the menu, from the wine list, right? And this guy knows something about this guy. Do you know who is this in this picture? Any ideas?
Yes.
It's one of the guests, previous guests. Any ideas who is? Ernst Hemingway. Ernst Hemingway was sitting in this restaurant next to one table, and he was writing a lot of material for his books in 1920s. You know, the Old Man and the Sea and stuff. All of that was written partially in this restaurant. The Benoit, if he is feeling generous enough, and he can sense that you will be generous enough in return, may allow you to sit next to this table where the Ernst Hemingway was. If not, then it's not your lucky. But okay, after 15 minutes, this guy appears and comes to the host. Let's imagine I am the host of this company, and I just want to make my evening great to my guests. So it means I know I will spend a lot of money. I want the best service. I want the best wine. I want the best food. I want everything to be excellent. And Benoit is asking me, Andres, what would you like to drink? Of course, I will choose some kind of an expensive wine, right? Because I think the expensive wine is a good wine. The Benoit will say that, that's not the best idea, sir. While all of our wines in our list are excellent wines, you should consider what you will be eating this evening, because you need to pair the wine with the food, right? Which means that at this point, whatever choice I am making for the wine, I will be wrong. Thank you, Benoit, for asking me this question and making me look a fool in front of my group. Benoit just conducts a quick poll and asks what of my guests are trying to eat, are willing to eat. And then he comes to me and without saying nothing on the wine list shows the point finger at particular wine. It's a cheaper wine and it's better from his point of view. I'm nodded, okay, I'm ordering this wine. And Benoit says, excellent choice, sir. Pretending that it was my choice, not his choice. So what happened here? With his first question, he took the status, as you know, that always customer is right? And the customer is the king. He took that status from me by showing me as a fool to my guests. And he gave a bit back to me by saying, hey, sir, excellent choice. Just to avoid to make me in his enemy. Right? He appears with the wine. He is doing some corking, like he's opening bottle. He is doing decanting. Decanting means that he's pouring wine from the bottle to the glass, some kind of a bigger glass jar. He's doing some tasting, and he's doing it like a ritual, you know. He's doing it professionally. It's like state of art. It's like some kind of the show. He tasted the wine, spits it out, and only then, when he thinks that wine is good enough, he's serving me, taste, what are my thoughts? At this point, what do you think? Even if he would gave me the stale vinegar at this step, after all this show, after all the attention from my guest to him, I would say that's a great wine, right? So I'm saying that's a great wine, and of course he's pouring the wine to my guest, and while he's pouring, one of the guests is asking, "Is it a Bordeaux?" And he comes to the guest, just straight back, and says, "Madame has an excellent knowledge in wines. This indeed is Bordeaux, but it's quite usually mistaken with another region called Languedoc in France. But it is Bordeaux. You have an excellent taste and knowledge in wines." She smiles as you right now, and it means that she's feeling happy and she's trying to like follow me, right? She like takes as a fact whatever I will say right now. And I was playing Benoit at this point. So the entries are fine, the wine is great. After that, another round with the main courses appears. Benoit is asking for a different wine. He's proposing a different wine to try out with these new meals. And after that, he disappears. For another 10-15 minutes, he disappears, and I know that there is something happening. That's actually the wine list and so on and so on. Benoit is coming out with 3 different cards, the cards which are pushed out in the restaurants. And he says that I have chosen a dessert for you. Baba Room, or French dessert, which is like the most popular in our restaurant, which means that the Benoit have taken the control of my account right now. And as I mentioned, he's rolling out with 3 cards. So the first card is the Baba Room, the dessert. The second card is the brandy and cigars. And the third card is the coffee with, these small French presses, so you can prepare coffee for you, fresh ground coffee. He says, "Please enjoy." The guests, and disappears. And as far as I'm aware of that, I'm in full his control. And the only thing I still have in control, what do you think? What is it? The price. The price, we have already ordered something, and the tip. The only thing I have still in control is the tip. After that, Benoit appears and he puts a small check, which is not itemized because it's like this big, and there is only like mainly one number, right? Like not list of items we have ordered. And at that point, I'm feeling cool because all of the guests are satisfied. They said it's one of the best meals they ever had. The service is excellent, with all these restaurants, with all those rituals and stuff like that. And the dessert is amazing, and the cigars and brandy is amazing. And I flipped that piece of paper a bit like a poker card to see what's underneath. And it's not as worse as it could be. It's less than I expected, right? And that means that the tip for him will be more than I expected. Because wine was the less expensive as I would order in the beginning. All the guests are satisfied. And what else do I need? The evening is great. The customer experience from these guests are great. So what actually happened? So if we're talking about the status of the host, who is always the king, he wiped, and not just he, also this maître d'hôtel who told us to wait like 15 minutes just to be seated. They wiped the social status of host, and he sees the local star power. He was the local star there. by these simple, seemingly innocent and benign acts. He let me fail, then he says, excellent choice. He's not talking to me, he's isolating me by talking to my guests, which means, again, I'm not part of this group so much. He's the leader of the group because he's the guy who knows what to order, what tastes good this evening, what wines comes together great, and so on and so on. And so he captivated the attention of the group around the table by these acts. And the most thing, he distributed some of his power to further strengthen his position within the group. So that activity with the Madame, an excellent knowledge of wine, which means that I'm giving some of my power to her. So she is feeling in the same group, in the same mood with me, and she's ready to follow me. And of course, he chose the moderation over self-indulgence, which means that if we translate to, okay, we won't translate to Latvian, but the bill was not as high as it could be, right? It was acceptable, and it was even less than I thought it would be. And the key here to getting this local star power is superior domain knowledge. He's an expert here in this restaurant. He knows everything. Right? We will skip this one for now. If we are talking about the status, social status, and we talked about the status of the host and the status of the of this waiter, what do you think about golf pro? If we talk about the guys who are pros in golf, what they are doing actually in their like daily life, how they are getting paid for what? Louder, please.
Hitting balls.
Hitting balls. What else?
Run fields.
Run deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
But they have been paid for their image. That's it. Because
Okay. We are not talking about the star players here, like Tiger Woods. We are talking about the guys who are really good at golf.
Being precise.
Being precise. What else?
rich people.
Yes. So they are teaching the game. They are running golf clubs, for example. They are operating some kind of golf courses, and they are dealing the golf equipment. This is the main sources of income for them. Are they getting a lot of money? No. If we compare to the cardiac surgeon, for example, teaching the game, running golf clubs, operating courses, dealing equipment, restoring the blood flow to the heart, repairing and replacing narrowed and leaking heart valves, replacing an enlarged and damaged blood vessel leaving the heart for air. Sounds a bit more complicated, right? Than hitting a ball. And in terms of status, the cardiac surgeon has much higher status in society, right? They're like known, they are doing a big job to the community, they are saving lives basically. And these guys are hitting ball, right? Professionally. And teaching others how to do it professionally. So low status, high status. What happens if cardiac surgeon wants to learn how to play a golf? And he comes to the golf clubs or just pays for some golf courses. On the field, what happens? Status flips, right? And cardiac surgeon, which was like an alpha on the parking lot, is the beta right now on the field. He's doing whatever the golf pro says, whenever he says, in a way he says. They have flipped the roles. Do you know something about this guy? Who is it? Arthur Schultz, who is he? He's a brick wall, right? The brick wall. So, can you please raise a hand who know Arthur Schultz before the championship? So, can you raise a hand who knows who he is right now? Definitely more. And this is what this guy did. Like not like maybe it wasn't his plan, but he made himself a local star, and everyone knows where he is, what he is doing, is he married or not, right? They're offering just to like organize whatever he needs for his wedding, even if he has wife. Yep. And so the summary, what to do? The first thing you need to do is to establish a local star power. If you want to introduce a change, it means you need followers, right? If it happens on your turf, like in this Golf Pro or French waiter case, the domain expertise and the knowledge of the location, which means that if you are talking about security, you need to be an expert in this field if you want to introduce, or you need to become an expert if you want to really introduce something, or at least gain a follower, an expert who can be in your team. If you are meeting on a targets domain, you just need to neutralize the person holding the status. So if you are discussing something with the board, and there is a CEO, for example, it means you should probably not focus only on CEO. Maybe it's a good thing to try to isolate the CEO and focus on the other members. Some changes to existing deployment, if we are talking a bit about DevOps here. Deployment process and mapping with the Git flow process in TED, our use case study. So we had a challenge where our projects, and we are not project-based company, we are just developing something for ourselves. But we have still a different system, different projects. The projects had different CI tools, different approaches for code delivery, as Frank mentioned also in his presentation. It might happen, yeah, it happened to us. We have differently named Git processes, and the people who were working on a single project were used to this state, and they were completely fine with this environment and what is happening and how it's happening. And there were people who were not. They were people who were not willing to change anything. But there are other guys who were not working on a single project. They needed to shift between the project and switch between the projects, or maybe start work on the new ones. And of course, we are not even talking about onboarding the new guys here. They were not so happy. So what did we do? Basically, we made an agreement between everyone involved, and it correlates with also development and delivery maintenance guys, about the future process, which will be based on what we have already, to avoid major changes and impact. So it was not a change just for sake of a change to make a unified process. It was a change for sake of less impact on our everyday activities and getting to the state we need to be. We collaborated on creation of documents describing the start and end points of this new process, because it was not clear for the team members where actually this new process begins, when it ends, in which projects it's planned to be updated, and so on. And we also described how these changes must be implemented from both process point of view and technical CI/CD part. And the coolest thing that these changes took place in different points of time for different projects, and sometimes with unique implementation approaches for particular projects we had. And finally, I can have some words about our agile implementation experience. Oops, I promised so much. So that's pretty much it from me. QR code for my LinkedIn profile. If we still have a question, I still have time, I can show you a small video about how to gain followers
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right? I believe some of my colleagues from the Agile camp might have seen this, but I hope we will have sound. Oops.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out, you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. But over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they've been ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
That's it. So there is no reason.
So we have the first follower.
Yep. As he said, there is no reason not to join now for this, right? And this should be the behavior and the expectation if we want to actually introduce some kind of a change. So and Benoit did the same. He gained this leader status. He took it from the host, and he redistributed it across the guests, right? And the host became his follower as well. So thank you. One more.
Your questions, 10 minutes. Go. Practice.
I understand I'm between the nice summer evening right now and.
Still, so
Okay.
evening is not
Yep,
ending.
please.
Yes, go on.
Regarding the French waiter story, you see that part of the reasons that make you say that it's also good is that it's harder to admit that you were conned in a way that.
I believe the reason I'm saying, well, from what kind of point of view, but it was good because the main focus was not on making profit, but making a great customer experience. And I expected the great customer experience in the beginning as well, right? It was just done in a different way. Yes, it was maybe uncomfortable in some ways, but as I mentioned, any change we are trying to introduce is not like the best thing we expect to be accepted and just, yeah. Yep.
How do you approach the resistance when you have a group of people that you need to try and push sales forward, and you pretty much got everyone but one? Do you still kind of need to get that one person on board as well before you can successfully proceed?
If that person is making the final decision, yes, I need to get him on board. Otherwise, I didn't mention it here, but in this line about the getting followers and this success story, there's a critical mass you need to have, right? You need to gain a critical mass from the whole group to be your followers. So in that case, you don't need everyone, and there might be resistance. And for example, as in again agile implementation, what we see, we can see like 10-15% of the people saying, I can't work this way, I am not willing to work this way, I'm just changing the company, for example. That's not for me. And it's also some kind of resistance, and it's natural, and it's okay to work with that. It depends what impact it inflicts on the company, on the team, on the whatever. But of course, if I explain everything and we have a discussion where, well, all the cards are opened and he's still against that, well, that's a question about then him or better, I don't know, solution or idea for the group, for the company, or whatever. As they say, I'm not five in Latvian. That was the time. Not like five let coin to everyone like me, right? And same about the change. There will be followers, and there will be like saboteurs or people against the change.
More questions? Don't be shy. You can stand up to boost your brain, and then maybe something will pop up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But there have been such situation where you try to, how to say, remove some kind of importance from the code, and he actually sees that and he tries to find it.
Yeah. There are, again, it was like a really small introduction. There are a lot of different like types of people, and basically, if we like narrow it down to psychology and how our brain again works, the only thing we need to like to get to is that person is interested. He's not scared. He's not bored of what's happening. He's interested in what's happening, and then he will not run away. He will not open his phone or his emails, and he will not pretend that he has more important stuff to do, because he might have more important stuff to do. But if he is interested, even if he has more important stuff to do, he will be present at that moment where you are selling that idea. Did I answer your question or no?
It was more on a different side. It was more about like distribution of power. If one is like a host and he makes a decision, he's a team lead. When you come inside the team and you start to like take his forward from him, and he sees that.
That's
some trouble.
Yeah, but that's a game. And here's a question: who plays the game better in that case?
So is a better strategy, maybe just taking this forward. Maybe you can there's a big difference.
Okay, just to explain what could happen. Me as a host, I could ask him to like explain how each particular wine in this list fits together with every menu item. Analytics. And we are not talking about interested or not and how the choice is made. It's data, it's about analytics. And we are shifting from the making the choice to analyzing some kind of data. And that's in my control as a host. I can make the decision.
That's because you know that you are expert in the field. There was a slide and you mentioned that in the field, even if you are not an expert,
Yep.
you come and you take this power from the host anyway. So that's
You need to neutralize him. Yeah.
and anyway, like goodbye. It's like maybe you can take some knowledge out of him and just try to figure out what.
Yeah, for sure. Again, for example, one really small example. When you're going to pitch your idea to your partners, for example, somewhere, what happens? You are waiting in the lobby, right? The assistant says, "Hey, there are some drinks. You can maybe want some coffee and stuff like that." You are waiting for him. Then you are getting to this meeting room. The guy appears like 10 minutes late, and he says, "Sorry, I have only 15 minutes." When your presentation is for like an hour, let's say, right? The guy says he's in control. He says, I'm available only for another 15 minutes. What you can do here? How do you think? How you can steal this power without the expertise in the domain and all that stuff?
Well, you could say, okay, maybe I will give you a quick introduction and send you the materials later or some kind of.
He's not interested in you. He's interested in the other. What I would do, I would say, okay, I hear you have 15 minutes. Actually, I need to meet another client in 10, so we will finish in 10. And focus here again is on me, not on him, because I'm dictating my rules here. And that's a power frame controlling, and that's a game. Again, it's not an easy one. You need to teach how to do it. Yep.
It's like a scenario and make it your boss. He knows what your schedule is. You know there's no other client. It's a different scenario.
If you will, if you can spare me 45 minutes, I can offer you a better deal than I prepared. And then we discussed earlier.
Okay, but that's still concerning the deal. But if that's a boss and there's like, let's say you have someone an idea.
Yes.
It's not in the question. It's a role play.
There's no better deal, right? There's just this idea, this, I don't know, maybe process improvement or maybe something like that.
Again, why you need it, and there must be followers. So if you are alone and you might be not heard, that happens a lot. And in that case, even meeting with your CEO, for example, is a small victory, that you have even 15 minutes.
We have time for one more question, so the guy in the, yeah.
Andres, sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would you go into that restaurant with your important guests again, knowing that you will go through all of that embarrassment?
For sure, because from now on, it won't be embarrassment. It's part of my plan. The show itself and the experience at the end. And besides, I checked the on TripAdvisor the reviews. It's not a 5-star place. So you know.
Okay, good. Thank you, Agnes, again. There were several things still with a question, so feel free to catch Andres after this conversation and ask several questions. So feedback form, you know what we need to do. So and what there is also pages in the room, and I will invite all this to talk about this event. Don't run away. 1 minute, and then we will have a DevOps talk.
Do you like the event?
Yeah.
Do you like having a dinner?
We'll go give you a waiter.
Do you like talking to smart people? Or at least listening to them? Do you like cold pizza better than no pizza? So does seeing, meeting, and talking and listening to Anita and Andre in a private setting without a rush, without some public presentations and whatnot sound interesting?
Yes.
See you on 18th of July at the restaurant. Everyone is paying for themselves. There is some small fee to buy a dinner for Anita and Andre who have agreed to see us. Do you like good secrets? Not everyone probably, but this is the good secret because this hasn't been actually announced or published. You are the first ones. The amount of seats is limited. It's 18. No, one is taken. 2, 3, 4. It's 16. Yeah. Meaning, you are the first ones to find it on a meetup.com in Agile DevOps and Agile community group. And see you in a month.
Feedback still for those who haven't touched. And Edgar's, now we have a DevOps talk part. So he will be the host now.
Yes, so nothing's over until it's really over. So those of you who want to stay are very welcome to proceed to the room next to us. And those who want to have like some kind of a discussion about topics that are laying heavy on your heart. Either it's something technical or not technical at all, just something you want to talk about. Well, hopefully it's related to any of this, maybe, yes. And then we will have questions, and then we will vote on the questions who we want to discuss, and those who want to talk in the circle can join it, and those who don't want to talk in the circle can just mingle around and relax. So yes, so that's pretty much the idea of what's happening next. So in general, thanks everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, and see you in August, in July, and then in August. Bye.